Hi, this is Business A to Z with me, Dan Goldberg. As many of you know, I'm a college professor here in the Philadelphia area, and I've written a number of books about entrepreneurship and business and life. And one of the exercises I do with my entrepreneurship students is taking an idea and sculpting it into different ways of building a business. Doesn't have to be a totally innovative product. It could be just a different delivery system. It could be taking something that you normally see and sculpting that in a different way. And an exercise that I really like is basically a mind map. We're not going to do a mind map here today, but what we're going to do is have you visualize something. I love the ice mind map. That's what we call it. So when you're looking at water coming out of your faucet, most people, they take water, they drink it, put it in a glass, or they boil it, or maybe they make ice cubes out of it, or they bottle it. Let's take ice. Let's go to the next step. So now you have ice. What do you do with ice? How do you make money from ice? How do you give ice a different form? How do you shape it? How do you reinvent? So one of the things that I love to pose to my students is how many of you can come up with different ideas for ice? And what we do is we look at ice and we say, okay, we can make cubes, ice cubes, and then I'll go, okay, all right, so you got ice cubes. What can you do with ice cubes that will make ice cubes more monetizable? Where can you make money from ice cubes besides putting them in bags and selling them and so forth, which you can get at your local convenience store? And one of the ideas is, well, if you could sell ice cubes or make ice cubes that have implanted with or have the impression of your favorite baseball team's logos, your favorite football team, soccer team, basketball team, hockey team, whatever it is, have their logos on there. Or have their logos with food dye. And then when you're watching a game, you put that in your glass, and there you are, drinking your favorite beverage with your favorite ice cubes with your favorite team on them. Or you take that same ice cube and you figure this out. Now you got to figure this out on your own. And of course, by the way, the ice cube tray can have the logo on it. But you take that ice cube and you have it injected with syrup, different kinds of sweeteners, strawberry, chocolate, or perhaps bourbon, if you're old enough. You can take those and monetize those. You could sell ice cubes with, as they melt, different tastes in them, different liquids in them. You can even take ice and make it into straws that also have different types of liquids for different flavors. That's just one variable. But you can also take the ice cube and make different shapes out of them. You could have round ice cubes. You could have oblong ice cubes. You could literally have ice cubes in the shape of a baseball field or a football field or any other field or your house or your neighbor's houses. You could do all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that you could 3D print ice, but who knows? Okay, you get a 3D printer that's cold enough to print anything. These are ideas that illustrate that you don't have to invent a product. You do have to change the product a little bit. You have to invent a new delivery system. We're doing that all the time. Who would think that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that almost everything would be delivered to your door, that you could order everything online. Just a different delivery system. They're not different things. The same thing that you went to the store for, different delivery system. And someone's making a lot of money doing that. It's the same way with any other product. So if we take ice and then we say, well, what else can you do with it? Well, of course you can make ice sculptures. You could do that. You can make ice, well, they have these ice sculpture competitions, but you can invite your friends over and have them sculpt things in your house. Or you could literally encase something in ice in a way that, for instance, let's say you want to take a food product that's malleable, pliable. I was going to say mashed potatoes, but you don't want mashed potatoes in ice. But something like that. Maybe it's hummus. And you have the hummus encased in a bowl of ice. And then you have to open up the bowl. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm just coming up with things off the top of my head. It's up to you to think of it. I'm just using ice as an idea. It could be anything. It could be flowers. It could be the grass on your front lawn. Who would think that you could take a pet rock and make a multi-million-dollar business out of it? Well, I don't mean a pet rock. A rock, and make it a pet rock. So you think about almost things that are everyday occurrences that you could then change into something else. It's interesting. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a whole bunch of CDs. And I know that a lot of people don't use CDs anymore. They download their music. They tell Alexa what to play. But now there's art, CD art. So they've used these CDs to make artwork, to make walls of CDs that reflect off of the colors of the CD. Just ideas. Just ways to make money. Just ways to start a business. It's like Uber, Lyft. For how many years were there taxi cabs? Well, now they have competition. Who would think they'd have competition? Pretty soon, even Uber or Lyft will have their own autonomous cars. Then there's another competition there. Then taxi cab companies will have to do it. But these are ideas for businesses that most people don't think about. Look at a product and say, how can I change that product? What can I do to improve that product? What can I do to make that product more available to larger markets? Ice, teams, schools. What would you do if you went to Penn State or Temple or Pitt or University of Southern California or UCLA or Florida State, and you could buy ice cubes or ice glasses, tumblers that have impressed in it the logo of the school? Could you sell them on campuses? I would think so. I don't know if college students buy a lot of ice, but I would think they do. I would think that every time there's an event at the college, if those ice cubes could be part of the event, everything you drink at the event has a Penn State or Temple or UCLA ice cube in it, if you're on those campuses, you could sell that to them. Or at least license that. You can license different things. All I want you to do is think differently. I know a lot of people say think outside the box. I always say there's no box. We used to say think creatively. When you're in a box, it usually means you're getting buried, so you can't think. What I want you to do is start to be creative with things around you, how you're going to expand your knowledge of those things, the usage of those things, the products. I may be repetitive, but sometimes you have to be repetitive so that it is driven home. Think like an entrepreneur. Use your entrepreneurial mindset. Begin to visualize the products that you could come up with that no one else has thought of. The example I love to use is IKEA didn't invent furniture. They just invented a different delivery system. I started a company called 4Eyes, optical company. I built it to a sizable organization, and we had stores all over the country. It's now owned by a Dutch company. Well, I didn't come up with a new product. There were eyeglasses and sunglasses for years and years and years. I just came up with a new delivery system that basically changed that industry and other industries, which is a longer story, which we'll get into at another time. But I want you to look at things differently, in a much more broader perspective, in a much more innovative perspective. What can I do with this product or service that hasn't been done before? So with that, I wish you good luck. I hope you tune in again for our next Business A to Z video, and keep thinking, building, growing, and being an entrepreneur. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.